Hello, my name is Gary, and I was raised in the western United States, so I'm a native English speaker. I hope that you will enjoy this YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.
The 38 Letters from J D Rockefeller to His Son by J D Rockefeller, 1839 to 1937. The 37th Letter, Enrich Your Soul. August 1st, 1914. Dear John, just like we are physically hungry, we are also mentally hungry. But many people often, under the excuse of lack of time, starve their souls and fill it up only by accident or chance, but never forget to satisfy their consumption needs from the neck down. Maybe my view is a little pessimistic. We are in an era of unlimited satisfaction below the neck, but ignoring the needs above the neck. In fact, you often hear someone say that skipping lunch is a big problem, but you don't hear when was the last time you satisfied your soul's hunger. Are we all spiritually rich? Obviously not. There are spiritually hungry people everywhere in our world, those who live in depression, negativity, failure. They are all in desperate need of spiritual nourishment and inspiration, but almost all refuse to refill their hearts, leaving their minds empty. How wonderful it would be if an empty mind could be like an empty stomach, filled something to satisfy the owner. It's a pity that there is no action then accepting the punishment of spiritual emptiness. The mind is the real home of each of us, and whether we are good or bad depends on its nourishment. Everything that comes into this home creates something that will help you or something that will destroy and reduce your future accomplishments. For example, every first-class person who reaches the peak is a positive person because he regularly fills his mind with positive, strong, and clean thoughts. Just as food becomes nutrients for the body, they also do not forget the daily spiritual food. They know that if they can fill the upper part of the neck, they will never have to worry about filling the part below the neck or even the financial problems of old age. A person must find his own home so as not to wander or become a beggar. First and foremost, even if you are going to sell your soul, you have to sell it to yourself. We have to accept ourselves. We must be clear that man was created by God's own mind, second only to the angels. God has no apparent limits on age, education, gender, fatness, skin color, height, or any other superficial limitations. God also does not have time to create useless people, and He will not ignore everyone. Second, we must have a positive attitude. 2 years ago, when Mr. Carl Jung and I met by chance, the psychologist told me a story. A man was trapped by the flood and had to climb onto the roof to take refuge. Someone from the neighbors floated up and said, "George, this flood is really scary, isn't it?" George replied, "No, it's not that bad." The neighbor was a little surprised, so he reported, "How can you say it's not so bad? Your chicken coop has been washed away." George said, "Yes, I know, but I started raising ducks 6 months ago, and now they're all swimming around. Everything is fine." "But George, the water ruins your crops this time," insisted the neighbor. George replied, No, my crops are damaged due to lack of water, and just last week I was told that my land needed more water, so this is resolved." The pessimistic neighbor said to the smiling George again, "But look, George, the water is still rising. It's going to be up to your window." The optimistic George laughed even more happily and said, "I hope so. These windows are so dirty they need to be cleaned." This sounds like a joke, but obviously it's an attitude to deal with this complex world of ups and downs with a positive attitude. Once this state is achieved, even when encountering many negative situations, we can automatically react positively. In order to achieve this state, we only have to enrich and purify our souls. Everyone can change or be changed. Mr. Young said that just by changing a person's vocabulary, he can build his income, his enjoyment, and improve his life and even change his life. Take the word hate, for example. Remove it from your vocabulary. Don't think about it and replace it with the word love. I believe that what I put into my mind is very important to my future. So the obvious question is how to feed our minds when we replenish ourselves with spiritual food. Have you ever heard that a woodcutter's productivity will drop just because he doesn't spend time on sharpening him and his axe? We spend money and a lot of time to groom the outside of our minds, shave our beards, and cut our hair. Do we need to spend the same amount of time and money to make up the inside of our minds? Of course, there is, and it can be done. In fact, spiritual food is available everywhere, such as books. They have pointed out the direction for future generations once and for all. We can choose whatever we want. A great book is a great tree of wisdom, a great tree of mind in which we shall be reshaped. Let us learn to be smart and humble and smart. Of course, we cannot read books that have bad influence on us. Those books are like a plague, spreading shameless evil thoughts, depraved news, and stupidity. What we need is the confidence and strength that will help us take action. Books will take our lives to new heights, and books that will guide us to do good. For example, Moving Forward. It's a wonderful book that stirs our souls and inspires our enthusiasm for life. I believe that the American people will benefit from its publication and therefore use their power in the most positive way to reach the dream of life. I even believe that whoever misses the opportunity to read will most likely miss the great life. I want my children and grandchildren to read this book. It will open the door to happiness for all. The motivation that brings people to the top is a motivation that is constantly nurtured, emphasized, and becomes increasingly stronger. Those who have had a successful life understand that the mind as well as the body must be nourished regularly. John, let the light of the soul shine on our way forward. Love, your Father.